Hands up.
Afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
George Washington, in his farewell address to the nation, made the important observation that the Constitution is sacredly obligatory upon all. That means everyone in the United States of America has a responsibility to follow the Constitution. That includes presidents of the United States of America. That includes you, Donald Trump. There is nothing unclear about it. Why does Donald Trump make such ridiculous statements? Like he's unsure as to whether he has a responsibility to follow the Constitution. Why is the Republican Party stuck with Marjorie Taylor Greene as their candidate for the United States Senate seat in Georgia? Why is the top thing that House Republicans going to do this week on their legislative agenda renaming the Gulf of Mexico? It's because Donald Trump and House Republicans are on the run. They're on the run. They're on the run with respect to the economy. They are crashing the economy in real time and driving us toward a recession. Donald Trump and House Republicans have nothing good to say about the economy. They promise to lower costs and to drive down the high cost of living in the United States of America. Costs aren't going down. They're going up. House Republicans haven't passed a single bill that has anything to do with lowering the high cost of living in the United States of America. Not a single bill, no executive order, no administrative action coming from this administration. They're crashing the economy in real time, driving us toward a recession. Donald Trump and Republicans are on the run with respect to the economy. They're on the run with respect to health care. They want to enact the largest cut to Medicaid in American history. It's deeply unpopular, which is why they have been ordered not to hold town hall meetings. Democrats are running toward our constituents, and House Republicans are running away from them. And Republicans are on the run as it relates to Social Security. They believe that Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. And they're trying to end Social Security as we know it. Democrats are here to protect and strengthen Social Security. So when you have Republicans in barely 100 days on the run, on the economy, on health care, and on Social Security, ridiculous statements are made, or they're left with scratching the bottom of the barrel as it relates to candidates for U.S. Senate seats. And they're forced to cancel hearings like Republicans were compelled to do this week because they have nothing of value or substance for the American people. They are on the run, and Democrats are going to keep the pressure on. Questions?
Thank you, Leader. Last week, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar cursed out a reporter for asking a question about House Democrats traveling to El Salvador. Do you condemn her rhetoric?
I haven't seen that.
Well, is it appropriate for any member of your conference or any conference to kind of verbally...
Is it appropriate for Donald Trump to attack people the way that he has repeatedly attacked folks? This is the President of the United States of America. That's the question that I'd be happy to answer at any point in time, because his statements have been in the public domain that have been outrageous, unethical, filled with lies for 8 years. And I'm in a pretty comfortable place because we're all familiar with them. I didn't see that exchange with Ilhan Omar.
Thank you.
Mr. Jeffries, thank you. AOC said last week that she is weighing a bid for to be the top Democrat on the Oversight Committee. Will you support your fellow New Yorker if she decides to make that move and run for that seat? And also, could you talk about Jerry Connolly, who currently holds that position, and sort of his legacy here in the Congress? He has served, I think, during your entire tenure here in the House of Representatives.
Well, Jerry Connolly has been a tremendous member of the House and a very forceful representative for the people that he serves in Northern Virginia. He's still a member of Congress. He's on leave as it relates to his position as the top Democrat on the oversight position. And so we'll see what decisions Jerry Connolly makes moving forward. We're praying for him. He's in the battle of his life, as he has indicated. And we'll see, what decisions he makes moving forward. If there's a vacancy at some point, which we know there will be, based on the fact that Representative Connolly has said he's not seeking re-election, then there will be a number of strong candidates who will move forward. Representative Ocasio-Cortez will, of course, be a very compelling candidate for she to make that decision to run. Thanks.
Good afternoon. Thank you. We've talked a lot about the numbers here and the tight margin. You're talking about Mr. Connolly right now and his health concerns, and he's out. You've lost a couple of members here. What are you saying to members to say, look, we know they have problems on their side of the aisle as we move forward on this big, beautiful bill, trying to get all their people on board here, of having everybody here every single day, and that, things fall your direction, you might be able to stop some of this on the floor or whatnot.
Well, House Democrats continue to show up, as was the case during every single vote of consequence when able. Like every single House Democrat voted against the reckless Republican budget, the big ugly bill that they are trying to jam down the throats of the American people. In late February, as well as most recently. In late February, you had Brittany Petterson, who, because Republicans refused to allow new members to vote remotely, even though the technology exists to do it, and it's not a partisan issue, it's not a Democratic issue or Republican issue, it's an issue that applies to everyone. But because Republicans refused to allow Brittany Petterson to vote remotely, even though the majority of members of the House would support that, Brittany got on a plane from Colorado, brought her infant son, Sam, with her in order to make sure that she was present to cast a vote against the Republican effort to decimate the health care of the American people. And at the same time, Kevin Mullen, literally, who had just had several surgeries, including complications from one related to his knee, got on a plane from Northern California, flew across the country with his wife so that she could change his IV midair on the plane in order to make it. I don't think House Democrats need any motivation beyond standing up for their constituents in the face of this reckless and dangerous and extreme Republican budget that they're trying to jam down the throats of the American people. We have showed up. We'll continue to show up and stand up and speak up on behalf of the American people. Thanks.
Leader Jeffries, it's Teacher Appreciation Week, and tomorrow's Teacher Appreciation Day. Can you talk a little bit about your favorite teachers growing up? And then in addition to that, black men make up just 1% of the teacher workforce. Is there anything that the federal government can do to increase the number of black men in education?
Well, one, we certainly look forward to continuing to celebrate our educators, including those who are members of Congress, like Representative Jahana Hayes, who was the Educator of the Year several years back. I'm very proud of her and several others, like Greg Landsman and many, many others who have been educators throughout their careers. And we know Frederick Douglass once made the observation, it is easier to build strong children than it is to repair broken men and, of course, broken women. And so the United States of America has to continue to celebrate and lift up our public schools, our educators, and our capacity to make sure that people receive a first-rate education so that they have a pathway into the American dream. Republicans are trying to actually decimate public schools by shutting down the Department of Education. The contrast couldn't be any clearer. I've had several consequential teachers throughout the years. I'll refrain from mentioning any of them. I still have to get reelected every other year, and so I'm not going to choose sides other than to say I'm thankful for my elementary school teachers, my high school teachers, and those that I met and learned from in terms of higher education. I think studies have consistently shown that having a diverse group of educators, which would include African American educators and men in particular, where there has been a shortage, particularly in many urban communities across the country, is something that would benefit everyone, particularly in places like many of the neighborhoods that I represent. Thanks.
Leader Jeffries, can you speak to the delays and cancellations that we're seeing in Newark, your reaction to that, and what, if anything, you can do about it?
Well, it's certainly something that I think we're all invested in looking into as it relates to the ability of the American people to be able to travel in an efficient way. We do know that the Trump administration has decimated the FAA in a variety of different ways, and they've been doing this from the very beginning. They are breaking the federal government, and as part of breaking the federal government, the Trump administration is breaking the FAA. And whether the specific situation is at Newark Airport has anything to do with that remains to be seen. But it's my expectation that the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee will look into this situation, that we should get some answers and figure out how to get it turned around. I flew out of Newark earlier this morning, and there is a long delay. Many flights have been canceled, and for those that are not canceled, there is a long delay. Part of the challenge at Newark, of course, is that there's only one runway at this particular point in time, and whether that runway situation has to do with air traffic controllers and a shortage, it all needs to be figured out. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Earlier today, Trump floated the idea of tariffs on foreign films. He says he has not come to a final decision, but in recent years, movies, TV shows, they have moved out of the United States. What policies or steps do you want to see from the federal or state level to help bring movies, TV shows back to the United States, keep them in the United States, whether it's Hollywood, Georgia, or New York?
Well, the film and television tax credit that has existed for a while in New York has been an important part of continuing to sustain and grow domestic film and TV production. And I certainly think that using the tax code in that way is actually a positive way to incentivize as much production as possible in the United States of America. In terms of this idea or that idea that Donald Trump continues to throw out there, again, it's all a distraction from the fact that Donald Trump's first 100 days have been a debacle. He has failed the American people. The core promise that Donald Trump made and that Republicans made to the American people on the campaign trail repeatedly was that they were going to fix a broken economy and drive down the high cost of living. In fact, Donald Trump said that costs would go down on day one. The reason why he's the most unpopular president in modern American history after the first 100 days, despite all of the big talk of a mandate and the Democratic Party being in retreat, is that he has failed on the economy. And Republicans have failed on the economy. And so all the random stuff that gets thrown out there, which is not how policy should be made in a sound manner, all the random stuff that gets thrown out there, it's just hard to take it seriously, and it's hard to evaluate it outside of the context of Donald Trump trying to distract the American people from the fact that he's been a failure as president. The House Republicans are failing They are completely in retreat. They are canceling committee hearings. They keep blowing through their own deadlines. Originally, this big, ugly bill was supposed to be enacted by early April. We're now in May. They're canceling hearings. They said, well, we're going to get this done by Memorial Day. That ain't happening either. And it's because the American people view these Republican policies as dangerous and harmful. And Republicans haven't figured out how to break away from being a rubber stamp for Trump's extreme agenda. And that's why we're seeing this level of paralysis.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. There's been some preliminary discussions about some carve-outs for small businesses, for farmers, as it relates to the tariffs, the economic impact of the tariffs. Do House Democrats support some sort of relief, some sort of emergency assistance? Should it come to that, based on how the economy is moving towards recession because of these Trump tariffs?
Donald Trump and House Republicans are crashing the economy in real time, raising the cost of living, hurting farmers, hurting small businesses, and hurting everyday Americans, and driving us toward a recession. The best thing that could be done is for Donald Trump and House Republicans to change direction. None of this was promised or talked about. I think we were promised, a golden age in the United States of America? Not a recession. But that's what Republicans are bringing about. So yes, we're going to continue to stand up for our farmers, but the farmers also need relief from the reckless approach to the economy that is actively hurting them and the American people. Thanks.
Thank you, Leader. We hear a lot from Republicans who would like for Democrats to keep talking about the immigration issue because they feel this is an issue that the majority of Americans are on their side with. Do you think Democrats have learned anything from the previous election cycle on this
Poll
issue?
after poll after poll now actually has Donald Trump underwater on the immigration issue.
Thank you, Leader. We've seen a lot of people like President Biden, Jill Biden, Kamala Harris coming back out and speaking on behalf of Democrats on a variety of issues. Do you think this is a good thing that they're coming back and still being involved in politics? And do you want to see more from them? And what would you like to see more of in the future?
Well, Joe Biden and Jill Biden and Kamala Harris, as they've indicated, they're still citizens. They still care about this country. And, if they have something to say, they're going to say it. As House Democrats, we're going to continue to keep our focus on the economy, on driving down the high cost of living, on protecting and strengthening Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, and saving these important parts of the fabric of America from reckless Republican attacks.
Thank you, Leader. Two of your more vulnerable members are now running for Senate, Congresswoman Angie Craig and Congressman Chris Pappas. And I know that Cook Political Report moved Angie Craig's district more in favor of Republicans. Do you see this as a potential liability for Democrats next year, especially given the slim margins and you guys needing to flip the House?
We're going to hold both seats.
President Trump attacked a member of your caucus over the weekend, Jasmine Crockett. Do you intend to seek increased protections or security for members of your caucus who are facing threats?
I didn't see President Trump's attacks. I haven't had an opportunity to talk to Jasmine, but of course we'll make sure that she has all the protection, both locally and in Washington, D.C., that she needs.
Do you and Senator Booker have anything else planned or moving forward? Anything we should be looking forward to on that?
To the extent we do, we'll announce that at a time and date of our choosing. Thanks.
Leader Jeffries, how do you feel about the Senate stablecoin bill, the Genius Act?
Haven't had an opportunity to take a look at it.
Do you favor giving that industry, a more favorable regulatory regime than what they've got now?
I think the current situation where there is no regulation will become increasingly untenable. But I think whatever happens, it's got to be done in a bipartisan way, which is what, as I understand it, the Democratic senators are trying to achieve. Last question.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. So now we have President Trump's budget proposal for funding the government, and we have budget reconciliation. How are House Democrats kind of showing the difference between these two, talking to constituents, and have you seen, for example, Congressman Lawler's comments regarding affordable energy and his concerns on cuts to that?
I have not seen Representative Lawler's comments on affordable energy. I don't know whether they were made at his very active town hall meeting, but do look forward to seeing those things. And I commend those Republicans who actually are having town hall meetings, because the overwhelming majority of them are running away from them. But nonetheless, every single one of them are actively supporting, including Representative Lawler, Trump's extreme agenda. And it's all part of the same thing, right? The budget, the reconciliation, the appropriations process, it's all part of an extreme Republican agenda that they are trying to jam down the throats of the American people without engaging in any effort to solve problems on behalf of hardworking American taxpayers in a bipartisan manner. And the American people are seeing the extremism, rejecting it. It is deeply unpopular. It's why Donald Trump is underwater in terms of his approval ratings, and that has happened in record time. And it's also why every single generic ballot, including most recently Fox News, has had Democrats up in Fox News by 7 points. It's because the American people understand that Donald Trump and House Republicans have broken their promises to them to make life better. And we're going to continue to be very clear with the American people. We hear you, we see you, we feel you. House Democrats are determined to make life better for you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Sorry. I mean, that's fair. That's all right. That's fair.